Friends, all welcome. Today we will be together with you. So trendy and very high quality trench coat. From start to finish, stay with us. Will be very interesting. From beginner to professional. Following the instructions, anyone can do it. Thank you all and enjoy watching. Today we sew mini trench coat, shortened, is our inspiration. Such a cropped classic trench coat. Sleeve be long. What did we do at first? Cut. Picked out the threads, buttons, all that we will use. Already prepared loops for the belt. Now I will show you how the details are duplicated. How did we glue them? Collar bottom, collar top. Resistant for collars. Epaulettes. Sleeve pads. We're gonna have loops for epaulettes and pads. Back neck trim. These details we duplicate completely. Back flirt. And flirty shelves we don't duplicate. To she be softer. Fully duplicated shelves. Selection. Pocket leaves. And belt. This is all duplicated entirely. Back sleeves. We have the top duplicated. And the bottom fold line. Those are back sleeves, shelf sleeves, also partial duplication. Top and hem. Back with middle seam. Duplicated top and curvature. Now let's go. Glue tapes. 2. Avoid stretching when stitching seams, so that all finishing lines are quality. And in general, the product is not distorted. Show what areas we glue, where we use. Dividing edge. Here she is. You can see what she has. Lines along the braid. And oblique, and it is reinforced with a stitch. All go to the iron. Stick. And start sewing. Also cut the lining. Bag pockets. Our back. Lining on flirty. Sleeves and front. Everything prepared for sewing. We have. There is always a fold line on patterns when building. Of our collar. We moved it to our front in order to lay the tape along this line. Here's this share. Crease line glue. And the edge is oblique. It is very convenient to glue on curved lines, and the line gives amplification. Also on the shelf we glue inflection line, and oblique, we glue the hole. And now, glue the seam allowance. Lapel rounded. So glue in a few pieces. Here, before the inflection line. And I will further strengthen neckline. This is how we do, on both sides. Inner front panel. We glue only down the board line. Front sleeve. Strengthen the shoulder line. Therefore, on this site we will glue too. Tape. At shoulder level. Everything is enough. Neck allowance. Glue. Back sleeves. Glued only sections of the neck. Well, the neck of the back. And walk. Just a little bit left. Our flirts, who want to be more plastic and softer. We glue only at the seam of grinding the lining by string. And yoke front. with second yoke. Special paw for wasting. Even line. Now we are laying the line at 2 millimeters. Then we will change the paw and do second line. She already will. Parallel, exactly stitched. This is how we waste all the stitches, which are now stitched. Back seam and sleeves. And so, we started stitching the lining. What did? Sewn the sleeves along the top seam, and on the inner seam, ironed. Prepared them for stitching into armholes. Sewed the lining. Shelf with back. On the back we sewed. Middle seam. And stitched. Crease. The fold is always on the back in order to have freedom on the lining. And that's how we iron her. Next, we will sharpen the sleeves. Our blank lining while waiting for us. And for lining. Collected a selection. With bearing the neck of the back, stitch here on these areas of the shoulder seam. Sewed a hanger. So what else we have ready? Parts for pat sleeves. And for shoulder straps. Sewed on the top seam sleeve. And stitched. Finishing lines. By now, 1 line. And now, we'll show you how I will perform the second line, also with a special paw. Leaflets for pockets. A little poetry show how to sew a pocket. Sewed racks to collars. Top and bottom. And made finishing lines to secure seam allowances. And before the iron we sure all allowances. Cut with scissors. Till we have these allowances decomposed, because otherwise they will procrastinate. Here, special rack. Stand shaped like that to our collar. Well wrapped our neck and lay nicely. So he will have this form. Next we have collars. Will be stitched together. Belt. We sewed and turned out. Made 1 line. And now we will sew the second parallel line. Flirty. Sewn on the side seams. Then, sewed along the edge. Ironed and made while the first finishing stitch. Now I'll outline the pockets, because soon we will sew them. I outline them from the front side. Location and shape is on the patterns. Leaflet, we will have a mood. The soap must be spicy because accuracy. When stitching a pocket is very important. Combine. Press a little to the pattern we have not shifted. And sharply sharpen soap. Outline the entrance to the pocket. Sew on one shelf, and the same on the second. Also, be sure to combine well. And to pockets, we got same right and left. This is how it turns out. Here we will go, baggies. And here we need our leaves. They were sewn on the short side. And while they made one line, because the second line we will have when we stitch the pocket. It was a paw in order to make the first line. And now we change on the paw to make the second line. Generally those paws are a whole. Happiness. I advise everyone and beginners and professionals to use because it's very makes life easier. Out now. Here is a special such nose witch. Lower, and it is very convenient to level the seam. Works like a ruler. This is the line we get. Like on jeans. Very pretty. I like it. So now we will do all the lines. Where we paved. Narrow line. Everywhere. We will make second line wide. On small details. And at all seams. Where is this planned? And so, now we start sewing the pocket. We have double lines everywhere, so that we ready to make pocket with double stitching, pre-kneaded, prepare line. This is how we should turn out in finished form. Double stitch. Here are the clips. Leaflet. We have an overhead. For this, we will go through the finishing line first, which we can only do on a piece of paper. And under 45 degrees from the angle to the width of the second line, literally a couple stitches. This is how we get a line. This is our front side, entrance to the pocket from the side. We should have like this. So we face with face. Turn the floss. Apply it to the center of the frame. Are painted. And neat. The width of the foot is about 5 millimeters. Try to sew till we have. Extreme needle puncture was in the edge of the leaflet, so that then it turned out neat. Angles when cut. Next we have 2 baggies. One bigger, the other smaller. To the leaf we have sewn that, which is smaller. Also impose. Face with face. A little away, shift the allowance. I spend it on the wrong side. So fix with needles so that she not shifted. And in the process of sewing them, I will clean. And sewing. Line to line. This is how we got it. On the lining allowance. A little bigger so she doesn't tear up. A line. The end. Top one. And bottom. Second baggie. Also stabbing with pins. Because I will sew. Again on the wrong side. I'm so more comfortable. Leaflet is mood, and therefore, when will I sew the second line? I need that. Starting line was a little less than that line where we spent the leaflet, so that when cutting the corner, we closed all the dirt. Here I will also put myself a note to do. 2 millimeters shorter. This is how it happened, parallel to lines. From this side it looks like this. Need to cut into the very corner, so we take sharp scissors. And to the extreme, stitch, cut on one side and on the other. Exactly in the center, between the lines. And what we get, here you can pet, can be fixed with hand stitches. I use pins again. Just secure. To baggy. Did not fall under the line. Here is this allowance. Corner. A little bit more needs to be cut. On a thread. And here is this corner. We gas up here, because there will be 2 lines. One line will go here, then into this angle under 45 degrees, and this is how a parallel line will go. And we will close all this dirt. Then if there is a little corner left, we just cut it. Same on the other side. You can iron. You can just straighten it with your fingers. How comfortable. It all depends on your experience. Make stronger fixing. Since this is us, pocket entrance, need to strengthen. Same on the other side. This is how it happened. In principle, you can cut. If there is a small corner, further and further, sewing baggy. I usually do to lines, to baggy. Was more. This side is more comfortable. Everything further to the iron, cut, and continue to build our trench coat. And our next stage, what have we done? Sewn sleeves into the armholes. The sleeve we have is raglan, so we iron the allowances only on the top. Walk through in the bottom. We do not touch. A little bit iron the allowances, but make it plots. And while we'll wait until the top is sewn. Sewn collar. Well, prepared with hand stitches. Like this. To pet it all, exactly. And turned out a beautiful collar. Top collar should always be more bottom, so that after stitching into the neck, top collar rounded bottom, and didn't turn out. That once we collar flex, we have these allowances connect. And the top collar should have an extra value on candy here and on rounding. So they look like this and there is extra. Size by top collar and further iron. Sewed pockets. Also now we will iron them. Be sure not to spoil later in the finished product. Prepared we sleeves. Sewed up slaps. Fixed pads. And did the same thing with shoulder straps. Everything is sewn on the sleeve. And double stitched our flotation. Here we have no change. Detach the belt with a double stitch. He's ready already. Only left to iron. These are the slaps we have left on the waist for the belt. Well, and also the back was detached. Next we deck to the iron. And iron everything you need. And already start assembling of our trench coat. We will collect it consistently. And sew on the lining. We iron the armholes only at the top. We will dye for assumptions on the back and on the shelf. At the bottom of the armhole, just iron, so that seam allowances are not collected. Now take off the hand stitches and iron the collar properly. Now, the next stage we have is sleeves. So do more comfortable. And first we iron. Bending allowance. The sleeve is from the bottom in a straight line. It's very convenient and fast. Next stage. We grind our sleeve. Iron allowance. Our sleeve will be ready for stitching into the armhole. And here's a shelf and a back bend. Also sewn the side seams. Such we got. Construction. Out now. With soap I will outline the bending line of the bottom, and also as a sleeve iron, because it's more comfortable. She will be already fixed. And flirt. We will set up on the doorway. Find loops for the belt in the places where she outlined. And in the next phase, show what happened. And finally, see what we got. Here's the collar. Selection. Stitch to sleeves. Both ironed. Bending ironed. They are ready to be sewn into the armholes. And this is how the shelf with the back turned out. Flirty. Waist slaps. And iron the bending bottom. Next stage. We will sew sleeves into armholes. Do not forget to check that we have is right. Was the sleeve sewn in? This is our sleeve, right? We sew it into the right armhole. On this plot. Combine all notches. And thus we will stitch both sleeves. Wow, stitched sleeves and made decorative stitches up your sleeve, front, and on the back. Those finishing strings in the raglan sleeve need to do up to the place where the armhole line starts to bend. That is, somewhere we finish it a little bit below the middle of the armhole. If we make it down below, then we will have defect and sleeve haul. Next stage. We will sew our selection. From cuts where the collar is sewn and to the sequence in order to. The collar we got by beautiful, and the collar line was symmetrical right with left. I use a pattern by which I cut the seam allowance here. You can use the pattern on which they cut, and you can make yourself a separate template. If you want to save patterns with allowances to sew on them yet? Well, suddenly you walk in. Sew another one such trench coat. So we combine seam allowance slices. I use a pen that disappears under the iron. And her outline. Line on which I will sew. On the one hand, and on the other. This is how we secured with needles. If you need, you can do it with hand stitches. This stage, it is very important, and it is important that this is all stitched very accurately. There's a size difference. We distribute it evenly too. But still there is, and it is to when the collar is ready. He do be overhyped easy dough. So we fixed on both sides. And now we will sew on the shelf. The selection we have comes from below, in order to evenly distribute the fabric. And sew until cut. Where does the collar start? Neck here we have left for the collar. And that's what we did. Sewn board. With one in the other hand. And everything ironed. Ironing is the most important thing. Canty. By collar. We do from a pickup up to the inflection line. Then we have a canty from the side of the shelf. Ironed immediately. Bottom line. Well, to make it easier, she goes slightly higher, so that the lining does not climb out. And the next stage we will sew the collar. When sewing the collar, the main thing is not to mix up. Top collar, the one that is a little more, we sew to the bearing. Immediately secure. Bottom collar. We sew to the neck, shelves and backs. Each seam we do separately. And sew the bottom collar separately. Reach the corners. Corners cut. Deploy allowance. And exactly combine this point. Where does our lapel line end? And where does our collar start? We should get on the exactly, at these points. Now sew the collars. And then show what happens next. Stitched collar. Separately and cut slices of allowances. So they can crack down and iron. We will connect this allowance with each other. We need to connect and secure them. Stitch close to the line. For this, we will make hand stitches. Combine seams. And in these areas. Also folding those two allowances. Make a line here. We will fix the collar between us. And I will continue to sew the lining. First, sew the lining is here. Then to the sleeves. And then sew the bottom. And at the next stage we will see what we got.